What's up, everybody? It's your girl Jen Jen, and it is another amazing day for some great motivation, some great fun, great laughter, and of course, for just giving life your best shot. So, today we're going to be talking about responsibility versus blame. And it is so beautiful when we can stand and be corrected by our own selves. As my mentor would say, Bishop Ashman, she would always say, Jan, use the mirror. Always remember the mirror experience, because when you can experience the fact that you can stand in front of a mirror and correct yourself and speak to yourself and let yourself know that, hey, you're doing some stuff that I'm not okay with, and we need to address this. So I jot down some stuff yesterday, while I was just meditating on what it is that I wanted to talk about, and I wanted to share it with you. Now, responsibility is when you can stay with it, when you can say to yourself that, you know what, I am at fault. Responsibility is looking within yourself for faults, whilst blame is looking for faults externally. When we get so caught up in life that we cannot look within ourselves to search ourselves to find where we go wrong, then we have gotten to a very dark place. Because some of us, we get so busy at talking and blaming other people that we fail to see that when we're pointing the big fingers, that these 8 fingers are pointing back to us. And so we have to understand that we have to take responsibility for our own actions. We have to search within ourselves instead of searching externally to find the faults, because a lot of times for me, when I get into trouble, when I do things that, were not godly, or I do things that were not right, instead of looking outside of myself to find the blame, a lot of times the blame lies within my own self. When I get to that mirror and I really go back into my cranium and I'm like, girls, stop fronting. Like, you did it. You had the intention, you had the motive. Because when you start to take responsibility, you start to look within yourself and you're like, you know what? You had motive. You knew what you were doing. You knew how you were going to do it, and you planned it. So instead of going around the bush and trying to make this, oh my God, it wasn't my fault. I didn't do it. Yeah, you know what you did. And it is time for us to take responsibility for our actions. It's time for us to start searching within ourselves and to say, you know what? I did this. Responsibility says, I did that. Responsibility says, you know what? I was wrong and I should have handled that situation a whole lot better. Responsibility says, you know what? They were wrong, but I could have really dealt with that in a kinder manner. Responsibility says, you know what? Maybe this didn't go like what I really heard. Maybe I heard something that they didn't say, but next time I'll really step back, take a deep breath, and think this through. Instead of blaming others, instead of saying, you know what, it's your fault, and you never showed up, and you never did that, and you didn't go to the supermarket when you said you were going to go to the supermarket, and you never buy the thing that you said you were going to buy, and you never go to the place that you said you were going to go, and you never, and you never, and you never. We can just say, you know what? If I need to do something, let me do it. And stop paying attention to what other persons are not doing. Because no matter how much we cast blame, we will never be responsible for anybody, hear me good, but our own selves. We will only be responsible for our own selves. And that is why God has given us the ability, the wisdom, and the knowledge, and also the courage to take responsibility for our own self instead of casting blame on other people and other things. Because when we cast blame, We're just basically just, just covering up the hole with a little mud. And as soon as, it dries, it's going to start cracking and persons are going to see that there's a hole underneath where that mud had covered. So let us just, one of the things I realize about when we blame people, that we can blame people for stuff and cuss somebody out and then with a straight face look at them and say, look how you made me cuss. Look what you made me do. It's like a rapist would rape a woman. And then when he rapes the woman and she starts crying, he says, look how you made me rape you. And you're like, but I didn't do anything. Yes, you did. You dressed revealingly. Yes, you did. You wore some short up clothes. Yes, you did. Look how your cleavage was hanging out. So I didn't make you rape me. So take responsibility for what you did instead of casting the blame on me for how I dress, for how I look. And if we can do that in society, if we can take responsibility for our own actions, for our own things, for our own persons, instead of casting blame on every single person, if every parent can take responsibility for their own child instead of casting blame on somebody else's child, if you can teach your child how to be mannersable and respectful and to know, grow them in the fear of the Lord, and if you don't know how to do it, bring them to a church that will teach them. If you as a parent can do that, instead of when your child acts out, you're going to say, it's because of Miss Mary's son and the fact that she never sent her son to Sunday school or Sabbath school. It's because of her son and he is a thief. That's why no, if you had taught your child, I remember I shared this story so many times. I said, listen, my mama taught me from early. She said, if you're a little thief, you're going to be a big thief. I remember as a little child, I loved Sawfish to the point that I would take it without asking. And I remember one day, my mom, she went to the supermarket and she bought Sawfish. And she had the Sawfish in the cupboard, putting it down for when she was ready to cook it. And I would go in and I would take pieces of the Sawfish, and I would consume a whole lot of water. And I remember my mom took up the Sawfish one eve when she got home from work. She was going to cook it for dinner. And when she turned over the Sawfish, all the middle was gone. I picked out every part of it. There was just the skin, the scaly part, like the back part here, and a little bit of flesh left in the middle. And I remember she didn't go to my sister because my mother knows her kids. She didn't go to my sister. She went to me and she said, who did this? And I wanted to lie. I ain't gonna lie. I wanted to lie. I wanted to say I didn't do it. But the look on my face, and I knew the type of mother that I had and still have, I didn't say anything. And she took my 10 fingers and she placed them on the cupboard. And she used the back of the knife, the dull part, and she knocked me on all my 10 fingers. And she says, if you're a little thief, you're gonna be big thief. I'm gonna kill a thief in you front today. Guys, that was the last I stole Sawfish. I kid you not. That was the last time I stole Sawfish. And even up until today, if I see something and I want it and I know it's not mine, it's either one of two things. It's either I ask for it, it's either I get a yes or a no, or I leave it alone. And my mother taught me and my sister something. She says, listen, I must never take you anywhere and you disgrace me or shame yourselves. If I bring you into my neighbor's house, you're going to sit, you're going to behave. If they give you something, you say yes or you say no, but you don't take anything that doesn't belong to you. And so we as human beings have to assume responsibility for our own selves. If we don't do that, we're going to be in trouble. If we don't do that, we're going to be in serious trouble. So I want to thank you so much today for the love and for everything. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for sharing the videos, guys. And of course, assume responsibility for yourself, because when you do that, you're going to feel a bit of kind of way at first, because you're not really used to searching internally. As the scripture says, search me, O God, and know my heart. You're not really going to want to do that. But when you start to do it, you're going to start feeling better and better about what you are doing. So search yourself internally, accept responsibility, and do not cast blame on anybody else. Because remember, It's best to take responsibility and do what it is that you must do. Have a blessed day, have a God-filled day, and continue to love and forgive and just be beautiful, because you are strong and you're resilient. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. It's Charge Talks with Jan Jan. Turning brokenness into ministries and stories into stepping stones, overcoming mountains and